The desert was silent that morning. Too silent. The kind of silence that comes before destruction, before catastrophe, before the earth itself holds its breath. Somewhere in the valleys south of Mecca, the ground began to tremble. Not from an earthquake, but from footsteps. 60,000 footsteps, marching toward the house of Allah. At the front of this massive army walked a creature that made grown men freeze in terror. An elephant, but not just any elephant, the largest ever seen in Arabia. Its name was Mahmud, towering, unstoppable, a living war machine trained to crush walls and scatter armies. And behind it, an ocean of soldiers, swords raised, spears gleaming, shields locked, all following one man, one tyrant, one fool who believed he could challenge the Lord of the worlds. His name was Abraha al-Ashram, the viceroy of Yemen, a Christian ruler drunk on power and blinded by arrogance. He had built a towering church in Sana'a, decorated with gold and silver, and called it Al-Qulais. He wanted the Arabs to abandon the Kaaba and come to worship at his church instead. But the Arabs refused. Their hearts belonged to the ancient house, the house built by the hands of Ibrahim and Ismail, peace be upon them. The house that stood as a symbol of Tawheed in a land drowning in idolatry. The house that called to their souls even when they had forgotten its true purpose. Abraha's pride could not bear the rejection. If they will not come to my church, he thought, then I will erase their Kaaba from existence. I will reduce it to rubble. I will make them forget it ever stood. And so he gathered the greatest army the Arabian Peninsula had ever seen. Soldiers from Abyssinia, from Yemen, from across his empire. Horses, camels, and 13 war elephants. But Mahmud was the crown jewel, the symbol of terror, the beast that would lead the charge into Mecca and tear down the sacred house. The army began its march northward, through deserts, over mountains, past villages and tribes. Words spread like wildfire. Abraha is coming. The man with the elephants is coming, and he is coming for the Kaaba. Tribe after tribe tried to stop him. They gathered their warriors, they drew their swords, but they were crushed, scattered, defeated. Abraha's army was too strong, too organized, too massive. No one could stand against it. Among those captured was a man named Nufail ibn Habib, a chief from the tribe of Khatham. Abraha forced him to guide the army through the treacherous paths leading to Mecca. Nufail had no choice, but as he walked ahead of the army, his heart was heavy. He knew what was coming. He knew that something terrible was about to unfold. As the army drew closer to Mecca, Abraha sent his soldiers ahead to seize the wealth of the Quraysh. Camels, livestock, gold, silver, anything of value. Among the camels taken were 200 that belonged to the most respected man in Mecca. His name was Abdul Muttalib ibn Hashim, the grandfather of the one who would become the messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him. Abdul Muttalib was not a prophet, he was not a king, but he was a man of deep wisdom, dignity, and unshakable faith in the unseen Lord. When he heard that his camels had been taken, he did not panic. He did not rally an army. Instead, he decided to go and speak to Abraha himself. He walked into the camp of the tyrant. 60,000 soldiers surrounded him, swords everywhere, spears pointing at the sky. And at the center sat Abraha on his throne, surrounded by guards, looking down at this man from Mecca with a mixture of curiosity and contempt. Abraha had expected Abdul Muttalib to come begging, to plead for the Kaaba, to offer gold, treaties, anything to stop the destruction. But instead, Abdul Muttalib said something that stunned everyone present. He said simply, "I have come for my camels." Abraha blinked. He leaned forward. "Your camels? I have marched here with the greatest army ever assembled to destroy your holiest site, the Kaaba, the center of your worship, and you come to me asking about camels?" Abdul Muttalib looked him in the eye and said with absolute certainty, "I am the Lord of the camels, but the Kaaba has a Lord who will protect it." Silence fell over the tent. The soldiers looked at each other. Abraha stared at this man, this unarmed elder standing before an empire, and for a moment he did not know what to say. Then he laughed, a mocking, arrogant laugh. He ordered the camels returned and dismissed Abdul Muttalib. But those words echoed in the hearts of everyone who heard them. The Kaaba has a Lord who will protect it.
Abdul Muttalib returned to Mecca and gathered the people. He told them, "Leave the city, take your families to the mountains. There is nothing we can do. This is not our battle. This is between Abraha and the Lord of this house." The people obeyed. Mothers carried their children. The elderly leaned on the young. They climbed the hills surrounding Mecca and watched from a distance as their beloved city lay empty and exposed. Before he left, Abdul Muttalib went to the Kaaba one last time. He stood at its door. He placed his hand on the ring of the door and raised his face to the sky, and he made a dua that would be remembered forever. He said, "O Allah, a man protects his home, so protect your house. Let not their cross and their cunning overcome your cunning tomorrow. If you wish to leave them and our Qibla, then do as you will. But if you protect it, then it is you alone we rely upon." Then he too left. He climbed the mountain with his people, and they waited. The next morning came. Abraha gave the order, "Move forward, destroy the Kaaba, let nothing remain." The army began to march. The drums of war pounded, the soldiers roared, the elephants were driven forward. But then something happened, something no one expected. Mahmud stopped. The great elephant, the trained war beast, the symbol of Abraha's power, refused to take another step toward the Kaaba. The soldiers beat him, they stabbed him with iron hooks, they shouted, they pulled, but Mahmud would not move. Then they tested something. They turned him toward the south, toward Yemen, and he ran. They turned him east, he ran. They turned him west, he ran. But the moment they pointed him toward the Kaaba, he knelt down and refused. Panic began to spread among the soldiers. Something was deeply, terribly wrong. The sky felt heavier, the air grew still, and then, from the direction of the sea, something appeared on the horizon. It looked like a cloud at first, a dark cloud moving fast, but it was not a cloud. It was birds. Thousands upon thousands of birds, small, swift, flying in perfect formation. The Arabs had never seen birds like these before. They called them ababil, flocks, wave after wave after wave, and each bird carried 3 stones, small stones of baked clay. But these were not ordinary stones. They were marked, prepared, sent by the Lord of the worlds. The birds flew over the army, and then they released the stones. The first stone struck a soldier in the head. His skull shattered, his body collapsed. Another stone hit a man in the chest. His ribs broke inward, his heart stopped. Everywhere the stones fell, flesh tore, bones crumbled, bodies disintegrated like dried leaves crushed underfoot. The soldiers tried to run. They dropped their weapons. They screamed. They scattered in every direction. But the birds followed them, one by one, stone by stone, man by man. Abraha himself was struck. A stone hit his body and his flesh began to rot. Not slowly, but rapidly, decaying, falling apart, piece by piece, limb by limb. His arrogance melted away into agony. He tried to flee. His soldiers carried him, but the disease spread. His body became a horror. By the time they reached Sana'a, Abraha was unrecognizable. His chest had opened, his organs were exposed, and then, in utter humiliation and unbearable pain, he died.
The army of 60,000 was destroyed, not by swords, not by warriors, but by birds, tiny fragile birds carrying stones. Because when Allah decrees something, it happens, and when Allah protects something, nothing in creation can harm it. The people of Mecca came down from the mountains. They saw the destruction, they saw the bodies, they saw the remains of the once mighty army scattered across the desert like straw devoured by cattle, and they knew without a doubt that this was not the work of men. This was the hand of Allah. That year became known forever as Al-Fil, the year of the elephant, and Allah Himself revealed what happened in His eternal book, the Quran. He said, "Have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? Did He not make their plan go utterly wrong? And He sent against them birds in flocks, striking them with stones of baked clay, and He made them like eaten straw." And it was in that very same year, in that year of divine intervention and cosmic justice, that a child was born in Mecca, a child whose coming had been foretold, a child who would grow to become the greatest man to ever walk this earth. His name was Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, the messenger of Allah, the seal of the prophets, the mercy to the worlds. Before he was even born, Allah protected the house. Before the Quran was revealed, Allah showed His power. Before Islam spread across the earth, Allah defended His sacred symbols. This is the lesson. This is the truth that shakes the heart and awakens the soul. No matter how strong the enemy appears, Allah is stronger. No matter how mighty the tyrant, Allah is mightier. Arrogance will be crushed, oppression will be destroyed, and the sacred things of Allah are untouchable. Abraha had an empire, he had armies, he had elephants, he had pride, but he did not have Allah. And so he fell, humiliated, destroyed, forgotten. The Kaaba still stands today, after more than 14 centuries, after empires have risen and fallen, after tyrants have come and gone. It still stands, not because of walls, not because of guards, but because it is protected by Allah, the all-powerful, the protector, the one who needs no army. This was the year of the elephant, and this is the power of Allah. Subhanallah, glory be to Him, the one who humbles the arrogant and protects the sacred. May we always remember, may we always believe, may we always trust in Him alone.